Hi everybody, I'm Seton Claggett. I am here today at TriSports.com to talk to you about the TriSports VeloSafe Pro Series bike cases, and in particular today we're going to be packing the VeloSafe 2. When you go to pack your bicycle into a TriSports bike case, it's an exercise in patience and puzzle. So if you have no patience and you don't like puzzles, you probably should just hire someone to do this for you. So the first thing you want to do is make sure you have all your tools ready to go when you go to pack your bike. Luckily, most bikes don't require a lot. In particular, we have a Quintana PRsix here, which just requires a couple Allen wrenches. So I have my Allen wrenches, I have my torque wrench, which if you own a carbon fiber bicycle, you really need to own one of these. So the first thing we want to do is come over here and we're going to take the wheels off. Okay, very simple process. Okay, next thing we want to look for is that our chain is in the big chain ring. Okay, and typically we want it to be in the little cog in the back. Before you take off your rear wheel, you also want to take off your pedals. I've already loosened up these pedals. It's always good to take your pedals off every now and then and re-lube them, so this gives you that opportunity. This is also a great chance to clean your bicycle. A clean bike is a fast bike, and if you put a dirty bike in a bike case, everything's going to get dirty. And now we're going to remove the rear wheel. This bike has a horizontal dropout. Okay. I don't typically travel with one of these. This is a chainstay protector for traveling. We sell it here at TriSports.com. This one's made by Pro. You can go ahead and install that now, and this just keeps your chain up nice and snug. One thing I've noticed with these bike cases, they are made a certain size to meet size regulations for the airlines. The new Shimano Di2 bikes, the rear derailleurs are a little bit bigger. What happens when you pack the bike with two bikes in the case, if you only have one bike, you're fine, but if you have two bikes in the case, this rear derailleur will hit the fork of the other bike you're packing. If I have Di2 now, I just go ahead and take off the rear derailleur. It's one bolt. It's very easy to remove. So, okay, we've removed the rear derailleur. It's just hanging here right at the moment. Another thing you're gonna need are Velcro straps. You can get these at your local hardware store. That's like a couple bucks for a whole bunch of them. I use a whole wad of these when I stash my bike. And another thing I use are shop rags. You can use an old t-shirt or whatever, but the shop rag really comes in handy. So we're gonna want to cover up our rear derailleur just to protect it from anything that happens to be in the case. All right, another thing you're gonna wanna do if you are using Di2 is I like to remove the batteries at this point, because when your bike is in the case, you could accidentally have a button hitting something and your bike is shifting and doing things you don't want it to. So I remove the battery. This particular bike has an internal battery, so I'm not going to be able to remove that until I put it in the case, and you'll see why in a little bit here. We need to start protecting the bike. It's just easier to do it now than it is when it's in the bike case. So this is AlboPads. AlboPads is something that we sell here at TriSports.com. It's a whole pad kit for your bicycle. If you don't have AlboPads, you can go to your local hardware store and get pipe insulation. It works as well. Either way, we're gonna pack one bike with AlboPads and one bike without. Okay, the only reason we need to protect the bicycle in the bike case is to protect it from other things in the case. If you were just put one bicycle in this bike case, you really don't need anything. But the problem is, for me, is I put all kinds of stuff in here. I put my shoes in here, my helmet, I have another bike in here. So I'm protecting the bike from the other things in the case. It's not protecting the bike from external damage per se. So I have the AlboPads here. One of the places that really gets kind of beat up is the fork, because when you have two bikes in this case, the fork can touch the Rearstay sometimes. They can get kind of close to the rear derailleur of the other bike. So I'm gonna just go ahead and protect these up with these AlboPads. Okay, another place we need to look out for is the head tube, and that's because the way the handlebars lay in the case. Now, these AlboPads come with some extra Velcro, and so I'm going to utilize these at this point. This rough side, it's going to hit the frame, and I definitely don't want the rough side to hit the frame, so I'm going to twist this Velcro strap around. Okay, the AlboPads kit actually comes with a derailleur cover as well. So I have it covered up here. I didn't have to do that. I could use this as well. And this simply goes over your derailleur and Velcro shut. So this thing is pretty well wrapped right now. You want to make sure the crank arms are parallel to the ground, because when you put the other bike in, it fits a lot better. One last thing you're going to see here is I've left the seat post on, the seat is on, and the cockpit is still intact. And the reason is, for me, it's a lot easier to do this when the bike's in the case. Last thing you want to do here is put the wheels in a wheel bag. This is our TriSports.com protective wheel bag. The big thing you want to do is, just keep the wheels from damaging the frame. So you take your wheels and you pull them off. You're going to take your skewers out. There's a convenient bag inside, a little bag inside the big bag that holds the wheels. The little bag will hold your skewers. Put them in there, zip it up. Take your wheel, put it in here. I typically will deflate my tires to about 60 PSI when I travel. I don't want them deflated all the way. I want a little bit of air in them. Boom, just like that. So do that for both wheels. So I wanted to take a moment and show you kind of what's inside one of these cases. This plastic is a high molecular plastic. Triathlon 3 Sports switched to this material back in like 2005. This case we're using today is my personal case. It has hundreds of thousands of miles of flights in it, many countless trips. It's been to Europe, it's been to Kona, it's been all over the world, and it pretty much looks brand new. Okay, I'm not saying that you're not gonna, some things are gonna break on here. Things will break. The case is meant to take a beating, not your bicycle. So through all those trips, the only thing that's been damaged on this case is one of the Velcro straps that closes it got ripped off by TSA. Regardless, you can get a rivet gun. We can send you replacement straps, and you can put a new Velcro strap on. So the case is meant to take a beating. Inside here, there is an aluminum channel that goes around here. It takes a lot of the brunt force trauma when flying. Inside, you'll see there's two pads. These pads are also replaceable. We have them online at TriSports.com if you need a replacement. They Velcro in there. These hold the bottom bracket. There's also two quick release mounts, and there's also Velcro straps to hold down your chain stays. This case is the exact same size as the VeloSafe single case. The difference is just how it's mounted inside, and also the VeloSafe has a bar that goes across for a little bit added protection. That's what's inside this bike case. All right, the next step here is we're going to place the bike inside the bike case. Okay, it's very simple. You just set it inside. The bottom bracket goes on that big foam block, and you lock the front fork in with the front fork mount. Okay, the bottom of this case, there's two Velcro straps that are anchored down by some brackets. These Velcro straps go around your chainstay here. This is a critical part of the packing process. And you want to cinch this down. And there's one for each chainstay. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is remove the seat post in the cockpit. Before you remove your seat post, you're going to want to make sure that you've marked it to your saddle height, so you don't have to remember that. All right, we got that out. Next thing you're going to do, this bike has an internal Di2 battery. We need to unplug this, okay? And once again, you're going to want to use electrical tape and tape this cable to your bike, because if it falls in the frame, you're going to have a world of hurt fishing that thing out. So I just used one of my handy Velcro straps to secure that cable. Next, we're going to take the cockpit off. One thing you're going to want to do when you're removing your cockpit is take care of your brake levers. Okay, so the Brake levers, you just want to cover these up because you want to protect your bar wrap. But this brake lever right here can be a little pesky nuisance inside that bike case when we go to put the cockpit in there. So what we're going to do is get one of our trusty little Velcro straps. Okay, we're going to clamp this shut and do that. Then I have some styrofoam tubing here. And we are going to use another trusty Velcro strap. Just put that on there like that and do the same thing to the other side. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the cockpit. You do not want to remove your rear bolts on your stem because it will loosen your fork. We just want to remove the faceplate. On this particular bicycle, the faceplate sits on top. Most bicycles, the faceplate is on front. We just want to remove the faceplate so you don't have to do headset adjustments when you get to where you're going. I like to have a three-way with me. You can just get more torque on it to remove stuff faster. Obviously, you don't need a torque wrench to take stuff off. Okay, when you pull your faceplate off, you want to make sure you put it back. Any bolt you take out like this, if you happen to have a standard seat post with a seat post collar, you want to make sure that you put it back on and just snug the bolt up. From a lesson learned, I lost a bolt one time because I didn't do that and it completely fell out of the case. At this point, if you're packing a VeloSafe 2, you're done with this first bike. We need to get the other bike in to decide where these cockpits are going to go, because this is when it gets, the puzzle really starts to play. As you can see, we packed two bikes in this case. One is a road bike and one is a tri bike. This case will hold any combination of bikes, road bike, tri bike, mountain bike. When you start to get to some of the bigger bikes, bigger road bikes and tri bikes, you might have to shave off part of the foam block that's in the case. Also, if you have a mountain bike with through axles, you're going to have to get a through axle adapter, which we sell at TriSports.com. It's made by Thule to make that work. Another thing, if you have a really big, like 29-inch mountain bike, you're going to have to, you won't be able to use a double case. You're going to have to use the VeloSafe ISP, which is a much taller case than this one, and it can hold much taller bikes. I'm going to go ahead and have some more foam pads here for my road bike. And I'm going to protect these brake levers with the foam pad. I've also, on this bike, this is another Di2 electronic bike. I had to disconnect a couple wires here on the front out of the junction box to loosen it up a little bit. But this is simply just going to fit down in this hole down here. Now, one thing to keep in mind, if you have other things that you want to pack into your case, now is a good time to do it, because once these bars are in, it gets really difficult to get down in these crevices and put stuff. So if you have spare shoes, a helmet, whatever, you're gonna want to do that. Another great thing to put in right now is your seat post. So I take my seat post and I just wrap it in a shop rag, and then I Velcro it shut. Typically I'll have a bag. This is just a reusable grocery bag that I had laying around. I like to take it and my bag, my saddles, and I like to put them inside the bag just to protect the saddle a little bit. And where I put this down in between the stays of the bike. So it goes down in this crevice way down here. Okay, once you have your handlebars in place, you're gonna want to secure them. I typically secure them off to the stem. So you can never have enough Velcro straps laying around during this project. And we're going to do the same thing for the tri-bars over here. Once you have these in, you really want to inspect and look around the bike and see if anything is touching. If you have a piece of your handlebar touching the frame or the handlebar touching the bike case itself, you're going to want to make adjustments and make sure it's padded. Because if it's not padded, it's going to rub and your bike's not going to get to where it's going the same way it was when it left. So what I want to show you real quick is just how secure these bikes are in this case. We're going to take the case right now and just flip it upside down so you can check it out. Alright, there you go. That is $20,000 of bikes flipped upside down, no problem. And that's how they travel. They're secure, the cases surround you, and the case takes the beating, not the bicycles. That is why I absolutely love this bike case. Okay, so this case, it holds all 4 wheels. It's a little bit tricky getting them in sometimes. The rear wheel, I want to put it in this front triangle because I want the cassette to sit in this open space, just in case it rubs against something. This bike is heavily protected, nothing would ever happen, but it's the safest place to put it. And you're just going to set it right in here. It sets in just like that. The next wheel is a little bit trickier. It's going to go slide right in here. And they fit in there nice and snug. The rims touch, the spoke may be touching a little bit, but the weight distribution, the pressure distribution spread amongst the wheel. I've never had a problem packing a bike case like this. That's how you do it. If you're not comfortable putting your 4 wheels in this bike case, or for some reason you can't get them to fit, I've never had that happen, but in case you couldn't, you can always travel with a separate case to hold your wheels. We have the TriSports clamshell wheel safe and the VeloSafe Pro Series wheel safe. And the clamshell holds 2 wheels. It's sandwiched between styrofoam. And this case right here, the wheel safe, holds 3 wheels. So if you have a disc and 2 race wheels or some training wheels, you can put them in here. Great way to travel. These check as standard luggage, whereas the big bike case is going to check with oversized, and you're going to have to pay extra. The great thing is you can fly with 2 bikes for the price of 1 with a VeloSafe 2 Pro Series case. So if you're debating between getting a standard VeloSafe or a 2 Series, I always go with the 2 Series because I can always put just 1 bike in it, or I can put 2, and it's because they're going to fly for the same price. These TriSports bike cases come with 4 casters. 2 of them are fixed and 2 of them are swivel. You really want to make sure when you put the lid on that you put the leash that's on the top lid on the side of the swivel casters. So now you just take this lid, you put it up top, and you simply put it on. And once it, it takes a little bit of maneuvering, but it should, assuming everything's the right height. In case if things are too high, the lid won't go on. So make sure everything's the right height. Put it on, lock the latch, put a secure Velcro strap on it. If you're flying with TSA, do not even bother putting a lock on one of these because TSA will cut it off. Okay, you do that on all the sides. And you're almost done. The last part to this equation are these secure nylon straps. So these just are one more added piece to keep the bike case secure. You simply slide it out of the case. And you want to make sure that it is not getting twisted under the case. And we have buckle this buckle side out so it sits flush. I typically like the buckle in one of these channels so it doesn't get bashed too bad. Because a lot of the baggage guys, they hold these straps to pick it up and throw it around in the back of the airport when you're not looking. All right, that is a 100% perfectly packed TriSports bike case coming to a local airport near you. If you have any questions on packing, feel free to reach out to us at TriSports.com.